So what was your presentation on?
The types of shock and things that may cause each type.
All right, go for it.
So the first type of shock is cardiogenic shock. That is basically a problem with the heart. Inadequate function of the heart. Something that usually happens with this type of shock is pulmonary edema, a lot of fluid in the lungs. Something that may cause cardiogenic shock would be a heart attack. Obstructive shock is just what it sounds like. Something is obstructing the heart, stopping it from pumping enough blood to the rest of the body. Examples of that: cardiac tamponade, tension pneumothorax, and pulmonary embolism. Cardiac tamponade, I believe that's fluid around the heart, and that it's pressing on the heart, it's stopping it from fully contracting and relaxing and getting enough blood through. A tension pneumothorax it's basically a leak in the lung, if I'm correct, and that air that should be in the lung, it's getting into the mediastinum in the chest, and it's pushing on the heart, pushing on the vessels, and it's closing them off. And a pulmonary embolism, I think that's a blood clot that travels into the pulmonary system, into the lungs, and or a blood clot that comes from the lung. It's a blood clot. It's an obstruction.
Mm-hmm.
Distributive shock, your whole blood vessel system, arteries and veins, they are going to dilate, and because they dilate, the pressure inside, you're going to have lower pressure, and because those big vessels of blood is going to pool in there, you're not going to get enough blood to your brain, and that's one of them. That's psychogenic shock. But distributive shock, the important thing is to remember is the whole blood vessel system is dilated. There's 4 kinds of distributive shock: septic shock, neurogenic, anaphylactic, and psychogenic. Now, septic shock is caused by a severe bacterial infection, and either the bacteria in your body is going to make toxins, or your infected body tissue is going to make toxins. But either way, that's what causes septic shock, is bacteria and toxins in your body. Neurogenic shock is caused by, most of the time, a neck injury, an upper cervical injury, and that is going to affect the part of your nervous system that controls the size and the muscular tone of your blood vessels. So you have a neck injury, it's not going to send that message to the rest of your body. Your blood vessels should be small, so you can keep some pressure in there, and you can get the right amount of perfusion to everywhere. They're going to be big, and the blood's going to pool up. Anaphylactic shock, that's just allergies. An infection, or an injection, a sting, ingestion, inhalation. You could be allergic to a bee, shellfish, some kind of medicine, even dust and pollen. Psychogenic shock is, is just general vascular dilation, and you're going to faint. And it could be life-threatening, or it could be benign, non-life-threatening. Something life-threatening, you could have an aneurysm in your brain. Non-life-threatening, it could be getting bad news, you're scared, or you see blood. Like people that faint at the sight of blood, that's psychogenic shock. And then the last one, hypovolemic shock. Hypo means low, volemic is volume, you have low volume. You're dehydrated, not enough fluid, not enough volume in the circulatory system. So if you're bleeding out a lot, you don't have enough blood, and there's not enough pressure to get perfusion to everything. You could be vomiting, and severe burns. Your skin will burn, and your plasma will leak out of the blood, causing low volume. And then the stages of shock, not really a shock on their own, but compensated shock, like Group 1 said, early stages of shock. This is when your body can still compensate for blood loss or something else that happened. And a decompensated shock is when you're in trouble. Your blood pressure is falling, and like they said, blood pressure is really the last measurable thing that happens in shock.
Good job. Good job, guys.